folks, that Mog synthesizer has announced our arrival. It's your man Adolphus A.D. Moore. Happy Thanksgiving week. Hope you folks all had a nice, happy Thanksgiving. My partner in crime over there looked like he had more than him. He looked so
Yeah.
he looked so comfortable. Looking, I'm pretty sure that turkey. But anyway, we'll get to the shenanigans we get into offline anyway. But anyway, folks, the Houston Texans today go into their bye week, and they need it. They need it in the worst way because it's been a long grind. They defeat the Jacksonville Jaguars today, 23-20. I want to say the score is not indicative of the game, but it is. The Texans had to figure out a way to make it closer than what it was because every time the Texans tried to pull away from them, they came back. The Jaguars climbed their way back into this game. So, in truth in lending and truth in advertising, Texas won, but to me, I thought they let the Jaguars hang around and almost let them hang around to the point that they could have snuck up on them.
Mm-hmm. I agree. The one thing that I was really excited to see was, thank God, we finally figured out how to score more than one touchdown in the second half. We got two, but I really felt like the defense, I know we had a couple injuries, but I really felt like maybe they exhaled and just, took a breath or two, and before they know it, they can't flip the switch back on defensively. Like I said, they were fortunate to win the game, but unlike you, they have the latest bye week in the NFL. And I think they've had to play so many weeks consecutively. I think they just left it out all on the field, and they just didn't have much left. But thank God they got to win, and now they got the bye and can kind of get some of those nicks and minor injuries healed up and be ready to rock and roll for these last 4 games.
Yep, that's true. And the thing about it, they got this stretch coming up. They got 3 games in 10 days. Something at the NFL that just that they let AI just come up to something, and whoever falls in that spot just falls in that spot. But you know what?
Yep.
That's the reason. Hey, it's the NFL. You play when they tell you to play. You play when the schedule say. And so we can complain all about it because I know what they say. They got the Beyonce game Christmas Day. That's what I start calling it now. They got the Beyonce game since you're gonna be performing at halftime,
right?
And that's the Ravens. But prior to the Ravens game, they get the Alf come back and they have let me see on the 15th. What do they have? Dude.
That's what I'm trying to remember too.
Not the Titans.
No.
I think of anyway. I know they got the Chiefs on the 20th.
Yep.
They got the Chiefs on the 20th in KC.
Yep.
Then they come back Christmas afternoon, and play the Baltimore Ravens. So they got a gauntlet. I'll figure that. I'll look over that one real quick. But anyway, let's one. I know one thing. Let's put it like this. I hope that Aziz Ashar doesn't get more than just this week's. It looked bad. I mean,
yeah. I saw the replays.
Yeah, you look at the replay. I know he's not. I mean, from everything we've dealt with him, I can't say he's a dirty player. He's gonna hit you, and he's gonna hit you hard, and he's gonna try to make sure that you stay there. But he caught Trevor Lawrence in the slide. But I think the thing what got it was the fact that he came with the forearm to the head, and that's to me is gonna cost. I think it's gonna cost him at least $50,000, maybe $100,000, and probably a suspension.
I
just
would be surprised.
I would be surprised if it's not a suspension. I just see it coming. Now, how long this suspension is going to be, we don't know. But I got a sneaking suspicion he may not be ready. He may not be on the field for the game of the 15th. Hopefully, they get him back for KC. But we'll have to see. Let's put it like this. I hope that Aziz Ashar doesn't get more than just this week's. I think it's going to cost him at least $50,000. And probably a suspension. We don't know. But I got a sneaking suspicion he may not be ready. He may not be on the field for the game of the 15th. Hopefully they get him back for KC. But we'll have to see. The game ball that they per D'Amico Ryans was the fact that he gave it to the offensive line. And you know what? I don't necessarily disagree with it.
No.
I mean, they've had their issues the last 2 or 3 weeks, but yeah, and I know CJ got sacked a couple of times. But for the most part, for the better part of the game, they should grade it out well. And Joe Mixon, I think 20 carries, about 100, and he got 100 yard. He was 100-yard rusher today. Mixon, he had 20, 101, 5.1 yard carry plus a touchdown. And Mixon, what he couldn't get done against the Titans last week, they brought him back, and because he runs with that abandonment anyway, Elwin.
Oh yeah.
And so far as I was concerned, I mean, and here's a unique thing about what Mixon done, and what I regardless of the touchdown he scored on that drive, he had a 30-yard run, and then he capped it off with a 7-yard touchdown run on that drive. But it was on the subsequent drive in the fourth quarter, when about the 3-minute mark, when they had it was third down, and they was about on the 20-something, 18, 20, and all of a sudden he broke loose for about 14 yards and then called it quits. But he called it quits inside.
Yep.
A smart heady play. And the thing about it, he created a running lane that gave himself about 1.5 yards or 2 yards from the out of bounds marker, so he couldn't get knocked out of bounds. And then he gave himself up and slid down. I thought it was a heck of a run. It's probably, in my opinion, it's probably his best run of the day. I know the touchdown was I know that 30-yard run, but to me, I let me put it like this. I think that's probably one of his smartest runs of the whole day was that particular run right there, Owen.
Yeah, I would agree. And of course, the big thing, they get the first down, and Jacksonville's out of timeouts, and they managed to run out the clock. So yeah, that was absolutely huge. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah, and oh, by the way, let me just the Texans, from a defensive perspective, they have been on a sack machine. They have been a sacking machine for the last 2 or 3 weeks. No sacks today, folks. They got close. They got close on Matt Long, but they got close on Matt Jones, but they just couldn't get to him today that can get him down. So that happens. And I think this is one time where the defense, because the last few weeks, 5 interceptions, 8 sacks, they losing games. No sacks today, and they come out with a victory. You know what? I know. Sacks are what that's part of the particularly the defensive lineman, that MO to get those, because I know that pays money for them. But you know what? We saw an 8-sack game last week. 2 weeks ago, we saw five interceptions, and they came out on the short end of the scoreboard. No sacks today. Hey, they win. So you know what? Who complain? At the end of the day, that's what. And we stated, and I stated that last week, with you post game, and it says the Texans. It says the Houston Texans. It doesn't have special team up there. It doesn't have offense. It's calling the Texans, and all that's part of the team. So you win as a team, you lose as a team. So tip the hat to them. They didn't get no sacks today, and look like they didn't get really, in my opinion. And I don't know about you. They didn't get gas for not a whole some big explosive plays. They got hit for some minimal plays, and probably Matt Jones. And Matt Jones is a seasoned quarterback now. He's not like a scrub out there. So he, they were able to keep him up, and he was able to exploit the Texans today. And hey, we take the victory, go home, and so I'm sure they'll when they get through tomorrow, when they get through tomorrow, tell them, hey, we don't see you back until next Monday. I think that's it. So good for them.
I'll tell you one thing, AD, that is worth mentioning. Stingley's interception and that is the 24th turnover that the Texans have gotten this season. And as I told you, I missed the first half as far as viewing it. Listened to it on the radio. I was driving, and Mark Vandermeer and Beware
Andre
talked
Ware.
about this.
Yeah.
We lead the NFL in turnovers. Now that is a great thing to do, but it's also a bit revealing and a bit concerning when you lead the league in turnovers and you're only 3 games over 500. It does open up the screen and see that we still got some work to do for this team, some things to clean up, and hopefully they can accomplish that in these next 2 weeks with the bye week coming up.
Yeah, I'm hoping that the quality control folks, I'm hoping they, I'm pretty sure that's what they're gonna be doing all this. I mean, yeah, I know the coaches and all gonna get out for a few days, but I hope the quality control folks gonna get out and have already at least gone in there and sifted through probably these last 6 to 8 ball games. Besides, and I'll just say from the New England Patriots game moving down to this point.
Yep.
Because that up until last week, the Texans this time they scored 2 offensive touchdowns in the second half. Last week it was they scored one, got one scored, man.
Right.
So, and the prior week they came off the schneid and scored an offensive touchdown as well as a defensive touchdown. But anyway,
I'm scared, AD, about one thing. You've already referred to it, the Petrie hit on Lawrence. You talked about the big fine and possible suspension we may be looking at.
You talking about that's Aziz. That was Aziz.
I mean Aziz. I'm sorry. Yeah, excuse me. But I was listening, as I said, to Mark Vandermeer and Dre, and Mark mentioned something that was very concerning to me. And that was my Gilmer boy, Chris Boyd, was not even on the field for that play. And when the flags started flying and the hits came across, Mark said he ran onto the field and he shoved a couple of the Jaguars. And they were shocked with all the flags that were there that he didn't get tagged for a personal foul as well. But I'm pretty sure Chris is going to get a fine from the league as well for coming onto the field when he was not on the field during the play.
Well,
and that's really disappointing.
Well, Chris got involved in more than not only that particular.
Yeah, I saw another one where he did a little shoving after.
Yeah. Chris got mixed in on a couple of things.
Yep,
that's true. The referees did not tag him, but I guarantee you one thing: that eye in the sky and the NFL enforcement, enforcement, he's gonna. He will have a letter in his box probably. It won't be there. He'll whenever he gets back, he'll have a letter and his check is gonna be a little light for coming out. And and here's the thing, Elvin. Even though and we know that, and you and I both know this, they'll come back even if they're not getting flagged, but they'll turn around. They'll turn around and i.e. go hit him in his pocketbook. And sometimes they've actually, I wouldn't be surprised if they might even talk in suspension. Like you, I know, I feel comfortable, and I don't pat myself on the back, but I'm almost guaranteeing you, Aziz is gonna have to go to, if whether he has to go to New York, he's going to have a little conference call with the enforcement committee. Somebody now, and hopefully it's just one game. I'm not saying I can conceivably see them on hand down more than one game to him.
Yeah, I could see it potentially being a 2-game suspension. But I think the thing that disturbed me the most about Chris Boyd's situation, and as everybody knows, he's a Gilmer boy. I watched him from when he was in junior high school. But unfortunately, this is not Chris's first run-in with the law, so to speak. That's the reason the Arizona Cardinals cut him. He got in a fight in the end zone after I believe it was either a punt or a touchdown, and the Cardinals cut him the next day. Now, I know D'Amico Ryans really likes Chris. He's talked to me a lot this year about how much D'Amico has coached him up. I don't see him getting cut, but I
Mm-mm.
can see D'Amico. I can see D'Amico giving him a pretty, heavy-handed conversation about, look, man, you don't want this kind of rep in the NFL. Sooner or later, the league's going to come down if it keeps on. So I'm really concerned for Chris, and I'm going to tell you, Dre and Mark, they went on, and Dre just flat out right said, I am tired of seeing these kind of plays by the Texans. They've had a number of them this season, and of course, it's not just been Chris. And then Mark chimed in, and he goes, yeah, you're tired of it and you don't want to see any more of it. So Chris has really got a magnifying glass on him, just like Aziz does.
Yeah, well, and the thing about it, overall, I can't. And I'm not trying to stay unbiased. I can't following this team. This is not a team of a bunch of cheap shot artists.
No, they're not. They're not.
We know some teams that would take a shot at you, well through the whistle and everything else. Have they got a little heavy handed, high handed? Yes. I mean,
Yep.
but and I think right now, and because what the Texans this past week had 3 players that had some pocket change lifted out of their
Yep.
pockets.
Yep.
So, I wish I was getting that type of pocket change. I mean,
Yeah, me too.
geez. I mean,
Maybe we can get the NFL to make them give it to us.
well, hey, I mean, and this, I don't know. You might know this. This is a sidebar issue. The charity that they decide, because is this negotiated with the Players Association? Is it something the league say, I'm taking your money, we're giving it to this charity? Then can the players turn around and write that off as a contribution? I'm just curious.
I would doubt it because it is a penalty.
It's a penalty.
And I can't see the government allowing you to take a deduction from a penalty. As cheap as the government is with us already, I just don't see them allowing that deduction.
I had something to say, but this is a sports show.
Yeah,
I'm trying to get. Hey, I'm trying. No, elections are over. I'm just.
Yep.
I'm trying to keep it down the middle. Keep it on sports.
But I just don't see it being something you can deduct.
Yeah. Well, okay. Okay. I'm gonna leave that alone. All right, man.
You know me, I don't have to leave anything alone. I just say what I think.
Well, yeah, no. I mean, no. Hey, Elvin. At this point, you know what? Hey, you know what? We done covered this league a long time.
Yep.
We done seen it come and go and whatever. So, I'm just gonna just sort of jump out of it because we know where a majority of these owners are, and where their loyalties lie, including your good friend Jerry Jones. We know where his money goes from a political standpoint. So that is, and that's his prerogative. So we're just.
But at least he feeds us well.
Okay. Hey, man, I'll admit the mac and cheese is great. And that Monday night game again, that steak and everything. Yep, that was a nice steak that Jerry had up there. Yeah. So I'll but I'm not gonna get bought off on a nice steak, though. I'm sorry.
Oh, me neither. I mean, I still say what I think about their problems, and they've obviously got a bunch of them. Although Cooper Rush does seem to be coming on a little bit now. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what they do with this mini buy that they have.
Right. Anyway, that's Dallas.
Yeah,
we'll let Dallas be Dallas, and we'll go ahead and let's deal with the rest of the Texans. Final comments, man. I mean, we're gonna go ahead. We bye week. By the way, folks, if you have not subscribed to the Ad Max Corner channel, please do so. I appreciate the comments. Appreciate the comments we get. If you have not subscribed to the Houston Roundball Review YouTube channel, please do so. Either or, I would subscribe to both of them. We'll appreciate it. We like coming here and kicking around. Don't look for us next week.
No.
We got a bye week ourselves, so we're gonna take advantage of the bye week and we're gonna go ahead and think and do all of those things, take advantage of it, and we appreciate it. But as we wrap it up, everyone's gonna go back to finish watching, and I'm gonna probably try to catch a little of the Ravens and the Eagles game. We can't give scores and nothing like that. That's against the NFL policy. So we're not gonna do. We'll let y'all know the game is close.
Yeah.
Erwin, final points, man. And if we get ready, the official. We see the Cyber Monday is coming up Monday tomorrow, folks. I read a stat that apparently we got some people got some money in this country because my understanding over the right after there's no longer Black Friday because it's Black Friday starts right before Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
My understanding some people were spending they don't spend like $10 billion already.
Oh yeah, I saw that. That's crazy.
And every hour they were spending like $100 and some $million on gifts and so forth. I thought it was the economy. I thought everybody was complaining about the economy. Sound like some people got some money. Anyway, that was my political statement. Final points from you, my friend.
Well, first off, you've already indicated the bye. It's been a long time coming. Texans really need it. And they really better try to get the benefit as if it was a 2-week bye instead of just a 1-week bye. Because like you said, 3 games in 10 days. And man, that is murderer's row, having to play on the road in Kansas City in what could be a snow game or a really, really, really cold game on Sunday the 20th, Saturday the 21st.
Yeah.
And then 4 days later, Wednesday, Christmas Day, having to play back at home against the Ravens, 2 teams that are always perennially going deep in the playoffs. And if you're Kansas City winning Super Bowls, that's going to be a tough 2 games. Honestly, on those 2, I would be tickled to death if the Texans could win one of those 2. I could be wrong, but I don't see any way they win both of them. But they've got to win 2 of those 3 games in that 10-day span, I think. They've still got their 2-game lead in the division with 2 games to go, which means, of course, if they win the division, they will get a home playoff game. But nonetheless, they've got a tough challenge in front of them. And as we always said down here in East Texas, where there's a ton of farmers, they got a tough row to hoe.
Yeah. In fact, the team I was trying to, they bring the Dolphins in, and I'm gonna tell you something. That's not gonna be an easy game.
No.
The Dolphins with Tua and the Cheetah and that's not gonna be an easy game for them on the 15th. But you know what? Go get some rest, guys. Appreciate it, Elwin. I appreciate you as always, man.
Thank you, man.
And
appreciate you, AD.
All right, man. Hey, catch up with you later. We'll talk later, man. But anyway, you take care, okay?
You too, brother. Have a great week.
All right, you too.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye. All right, folks, as we get ready to wrap it up, this is your man, the Dolphins, AD Moore. Recapping the Texans today. Game ball went to the offensive line. I think it was good. Was right. I think I agree with giving it to the offensive line because D'Amico Ryans. Joe Mixon got a 100-yard rushing today. They was critical needed. They pretty well kept a CJ Stroud clean today. So Texans go on a bye week. Everybody needs to get a little rest. I'm gonna be out for a little bit. But anyway, as we get ready to sign off, appreciate you. Thank you. And again, the final score from Jacksonville: the Houston Texans 23, the Jacksonville Jaguars 20. Texans go on a bye week. Folks, be careful, be safe out there. Watch yourself shopping, ladies and gentlemen. Don't get so busy with your packages and being on the phone and people walk up there and take all your stuff and it's not worth your life. Be careful out there shopping in these shopping malls and everything. Be safe and take care. God bless. And ciao. I'm out of here, folks. We are done.